Fridays at the Fountain. If you need to unwind after a busy week, try Fridays at the Fountain in Crystal City, a weekly pop-up beer and wine garden with great live music in an outdoor beautiful setting. More at crystalcity.org. And visit our friends at Pacers Running. If you're looking for new shoes, if you love yoga, or if you're a runner, they have several locations in the DC area, so stop by today. And to find a location, you can just go to pacersrunning.com. We're ready, right? Oh, roll it!
That you hear every day. Hey Frase, what's the phrase that you hear? Tune in, yeah, you gotta tune in. Sarah Fraser on the mic and she about to begin. The co-host with the most, Paul Warren looking fleek. Take it from me, you should be listening. Live from the nation's cap, pop culture at its best. No need a second guess, separated from the rest.
Hey, baby.
Paul!
How you doing?
So good, we have big news.
Take me higher. Take me, Sarah.
Taking you higher.
I love it.
Is that like
That's
what
a
happens
Diana
with
Ross
you?
song. Take me higher. Take me to that lovely place when the sky's so high. Higher.
Take me higher. Take me to Spotify.
Yay! Is that the news?
It is the news. So we teased this. We'd been telling you guys about a month ago, because we've been working on this for a while, that we would have big news to announce, and it's finally here. And that news is that we are on Spotify. We are officially on Spotify.
Woo!
Yay! I know, isn't that
We need
great?
a clap track.
We do need a clap.
Come on, man. I mean, isn't that when they clap?
A clap
But
track.
wait, we have people here. Hello, we're on Spotify.
Yes! Let's go.
So exciting. You know, I'm on
Here
Spotify every day.
we go. Yes, absolutely. So with Spotify means that we're also now on iHeartRadio. You're going to be able to find us actually in lots of places. So we're on iHeart, we're on SoundCloud, Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, Libsyn,
Wow.
Podomatic. We're
I mean,
in
I'm
7
impressed.
places.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Does that work for you, Paul? Are we
It
good
works
now?
for me.
So please, you guys, do us a favor today. Go and I'm sure everybody already has Spotify anyway, but please tell somebody that uses Spotify about the Hey Frase with Paul Wharton podcast. All you got to do is search Hey Frase podcast on Spotify. Boom, will pop up. But tell a friend if you would. It would mean so much to us because we really appreciate you guys have supported us. You're growing this podcast, and this is the next step. So the more people that listen, then the more free things we can give you, because, you know,
love it.
sponsors are going to sponsor our shit, and then boom, we get it.
I'm so happy.
Yay! So thank you guys so much. It's like your support and the reason that you guys have listened that we're finally, we're making big moves, which I'm excited about, because when you first joined was when we kind of parted ways with Podcast One.
Yeah.
So it was sort of like, you kind of sometimes have to believe that bigger things are on the way.
Absolutely.
And then it's like, oh, fine. You don't want us to be on Podcast One? Boom. Now we're going to be with someone that's got 200 million listeners. So
Yes.
fuck you.
I love it. All right. That is
I'm just
fantastic.
kidding. Anyway, so it is. It's just always a good lesson in just having faith.
Yeah.
You know? Paul Wharton, how have you been? Oh boy. We'll start with that story. Paul and I saw each other over
Yeah.
the weekend because we hosted this fashion show for those of you who don't know, Paul and I in DC, we contribute for Fox 5. And so one of our coworkers had a fashion show. She asked us to co-host the fashion event. So we did that. We had a great time. And then, we go our own separate ways. We both live our lives, have a crazy weekend, and we come back together on Wednesday. And you walked in here today and you were so you were just a mess.
Well, I was a total mess. I mean, first of all, I'm a total news junkie, so I totally let the news yesterday consume me. So first thing I will say is, I know this podcast is, we're fun and we want to bring you all up, but we are human, and I just want to say to the family of Heather Heyer, her funeral was today. I watched some of the memorial service, on CNN. It's just so sad, and to the two law enforcement officers, I just thought that was just terrible that they lost their lives on Saturday. And to everybody that was hurt, I mean, our thoughts and prayers are with you, your families.
It's been so hard to not be consumed by it, not be affected by it. I think everybody is. And, it's funny. Here's what I'll say, and I want your opinion on this before we get going on the show, because I think you're right. It's so important to talk about. It's hard for me to wrap my head around just like how deep systemic racism is in this country, you know? Because I grew up in rural Maine. I grew up in a little area. And my parents always loved everyone. Even though I didn't grow up with a lot of diversity, they never said anything hateful about anybody of a different race.
Sure.
And so I guess it's so shocking to see these people kind of come out of the woodwork, these alt-righters, and just have so much like hatred and, you know, and they load themselves up with all these weapons. I mean, I think they're absolutely crazy. And then I don't know about you, and I know this is very superficial, but David Duke has had so much plastic surgery. I can't handle it.
When is somebody going to talk about that? I mean,
well, here's my question to the neo-Nazis that listen to our show, all right? How do you follow a leader? He's got the same nose as Michael Jackson. The guy has had so much work done. He looks like Joan Rivers incarnated.
He really does.
Oh, my God.
But what is that about?
What in the God's name? Well, I would say it's obvious about self-hatred. The man doesn't like himself, so he's blowtorched his face into oblivion, don't you think?
I think so. I think you're right about that.
When I saw the pictures, I thought, how can these neo-Nazis, right, these guys that want to go back to just like strong men, white men leading and all this shit, their leader...
Right.
I mean, the tip of his nose is going to fall off at any moment.
I mean, it's worth a little question. Do you know?
Oh my God! Here comes the emails. I'm sure.
Oh my God!
I can't handle it. AJ, our intern, just brought up the pictures of David Duke. Now that was a couple years ago. Look at this nose job. Why isn't anyone talking about the Botox?
But the way his face
fillers.
is so pulled. Oh my God! It's too much. It's just too much.
Oh my God! She's doing like a fast slideshow of it. Now see there. He looked like just a man, right?
Right. Well, I mean, he's wearing a KKK uniform, but other than that, he's pretty normal.
He just looks like a crazy racist
So I guess
man.
I'm just really disappointed in our president, but I am feeling hopeful because people have really come together. You know,
I know they
we've
are.
always looked to the leadership of our president. I mean, I know during the 8 years Barack Obama was in office, I definitely looked to him. We all looked to him, and he was a phenomenal leader. And he did comfort us in times of questioning, like, were we going to be okay?
Right.
You know, and we're just not getting that at all now. But we are kind of turning to each other, and for all the people that are hateful, there's 10 times more that are loving and hopeful and are willing to stand on the right side of history and stand up for what's right.
And I have not been able to like put into words kind of what the right thing to say is, because honestly I don't know. But I will say this morning, because I was thinking about this on this podcast, how are we going to address this? We have many people from many different racial backgrounds that listen to this podcast, and I think it's what you did, Paul, was so right. It's so important to address it. But do you know Brene Brown? Are you guys fans with her? She's like an Oprah. She and Oprah are buddies, and her TED Talk went viral probably like 6 years ago, all about vulnerability.
Okay.
Well, anyway, she came out yesterday. She's done a video on Facebook Live that has almost 2 million views. And she's dedicated her life to basically being a professor, teaching about acceptance and being open and vulnerable and shame, around shame. Mm-hmm. The video clip is up on my podcast page if you just search Sarah Fraser page. But it hit me this morning because I think it is so important that we have a conversation about this. But she really talks about owning our story in this country of systemic racism, that our story is one of white supremacy. Because for years and years, many people owned slaves. That's what they wanted. And she also goes on to talk about she really has a great definition of what white privilege is.
Okay.
Because she says, like, in her years of teaching, the hardest part is that lots of times people come in and they're like, look, I worked from, I started from nothing. My parents didn't have anything, and I worked my way up. And she goes, no. That's hard work. Privilege is when and I didn't even think about this example, but she's like, it's when you go to the store and you have a Band-Aid that matches your skin color. And it's when you're driving down the street and you get pulled over and you don't have to really worry about anything because you're just pretty much presumed innocent. And so she gives all these examples, and it's so amazing. She really put it in perspective for me. And she also says that it's privilege when things like this happen and you say to yourself, okay, I just need to go on Pinterest. I just need to see like good, positive things and make cupcakes.
Sure.
And because you don't have to face it. And I'm like, that's me. I am the person who, when shit like this happens, I'm like, you know what? I just want to go on Pinterest. I don't understand like why we don't just stop covering these people. If we don't give them a platform, they're not going to come out. But that's missing the point of the whole backstory.
Damn you honest. I mean, I was watching this interview yesterday by Richard Spencer, one of these like white nationalists that's always out in the news right now.
Okay.
And, he's the guy that was like the skinny jeans and all the stuff, but, he's trying to recruit all these young, kind of educated white guys to become a part of this movement.
Wait,
And
is he like an alt-righter?
yeah, he's like one of the head guys. It's always he was the guy that they canceled that speech on at University of Florida.
Oh, young guy. Yeah,
youngish looking, because of his haircut and his skinny jeans. I mean,
Sure.
everybody looks young.
And because of David Duke's plastic surgeon that he goes to now, yeah.
Exactly. But he was saying in an interview that I saw yesterday, oh, I just love white privilege. I want to bring it back. I want it to trend. I want to bathe in white privilege. This is what he was saying. And he was saying, look, every year you see these big companies like Google and Facebook and whatever, Netflix, whatever he said, and they come out with these diversity hiring reports. And every year they celebrate the fact that they've hired less white men. And like, why are we celebrating that? And I was just sitting, I had to pause the TV. I was laying in bed. I sat up. I put my feet on the ground. No, really. I was like, oh, okay, I need to know what's going on because I know people that look like that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know?
Oh, I know a lot of them, too, yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess...
Well, I probably look like one, actually.
Well, you just said that you're not one, but, you feel the privilege.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel the privilege.
Yeah.
I feel the privilege. And it's hard because, like, what Brene says in the video is basically it's hard to own your story, right? Isn't that everybody's hardest thing? Whether you're an alcoholic, whether you've been abused as a kid. The hardest part is owning it, putting it out there, and going, this is what it is. I might not know the answer, but this is what happened. And I think for me as a white person, the hardest part is I cannot believe that people would be so cruel to other people that for me it's hard to get in that place of going, this is really what happened. And it really wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
So it is privilege. It's privilege to go, you know what? I can go on Pinterest and my life will go on.
Or, you lose your job. Oh, I'll just go get another one. I think for me, the difference is I don't have an expectation that anyone's going to do anything for me or help me out. That's kind of my thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when I stopped getting calls to be on TV years ago and I had to create something, like create a show, sell the sponsorship, write the show, shoot the show, promote the show. And that's the way I worked.
Right.
Because I think with me being a black man and a gay black man, from my experience, I just never thought anybody would do anything really for me to help me along. And a lot of ways I still don't feel that way.
Right.
Right. I don't. And however, I have reclaimed my time. No, I have. Because, I'm time enough for these folks that think that they, we're in a business relationship. I send them an email. They don't email me back. I'm like, excuse me. Hello. I emailed you. Your fingers broke? Oh, I had meetings. When I email you, email me back. Like, I had an email last week from a company that I work with, and they said, oh, we don't need you this week. And I responded back, sorry, that doesn't work for me. The expectation is that I'm there.
Right.
And so make it happen. And you know what they did?
They made it happen.
They made it happen.
Yeah.
So, sometimes, you can understand that you're not in a position, historically or from a perspective of other people's perception, the way you look or who you are from their perspective. But that doesn't mean you have to take their shit. You have to call them on it.
I think that's amazing. And it's an interesting time to be in this country. And I think that I love Brene's idea of owning our story. And once you own it, then you can move on from it, you know? And that's kind of the thing is we just don't own it. And I think there's a lot of people like myself who want to ignore, or believe, or just not believe that the alt-right is that strong or that much of a movement, or that people still even really feel that way. That's really hard to grasp. So anyway, you can always email us. It's paulwhartonstyle@yahoo.com.
Right.
And it's sarah@heyfrase.com. And you guys emailed us this week. We'll talk towards the end of the show with our intern Joelle, because she last week had mentioned that she was an Oreo, and we obviously got a lot of feedback about that. So we'll get into that later on. But what the hell? So after we addressed that, you this morning came in here with this rat that was like on your vehicle. Oh my God, Paul, these...
What? Okay, to switch up...
Please help.
Okay, that's me.
You want to set the story up?
I'll set the story up. So, I'm coming. I park where I live. I park in an alley.
Okay.
It's like a reserved space in an alley. And there's 2 spaces. There's 1 space next to mine. And and it's also behind a big like condo building. And there's rats all the time running back there. Yeah, like a lot of rats.
Yeah.
So it's just part of DC. They're everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in Georgetown or in Shaw or in Logan or in DuPont. If you go to alleys behind houses, you're going to see rats running around in DC. It's just one of these things that we have here. So that's no different. Anyway, I go and there's a van blocking me in. So I go to the condo building and I'm like banging on the door because I've got to get here to record the podcast.
Yeah.
And, the guy answers his door and I have like my black privilege on, Do you see that big motherfucking BMW? That's mine, and you need to move. Okay. So anyway.
Speaking of privilege.
All right. Oh, no. I'm reclaiming my time on all that privilege. So anyway, but the woman comes out to move the van. She's very apologetic, and then I gave her a hug. I was like, oh, no problem. I walked to my car. And it's probably really a mouse, but to me it was a rat, okay? There's a rat on the hood of my car.
Oh my God, this thing is serious. You're not joking. Like, it's on Paul's Instagram story right now.
Yes.
And it is so hysterical. I mean, it's not funny, but it just visually is like
so the
crazy.
First video that I posted up there was me. When I saw the rat, I just pulled out my phone. I almost dropped the phone. Another big ass rat ran over my foot. Okay.
Oh.
Right as soon as the Insta story stopped, a rat ran over my foot. I lost my shit. People were coming out on their terraces. They were opening their windows. Thank God I've got good neighbors.
I guess here you are as it's all going down.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God.
Oh my
God. You talk about karmic retribution. I was so nice to that lady when she came out. Yeah. She actually got the rat off the hood of my car.
You sound.
No, wait. I'm in the car. She's outside taking the. What was I screaming about?
I have no idea. You are literally. Honest to God, this video is of Paul sitting behind the driver's seat, and this poor woman has got like an old bread bag, and she's trying to like get the thing up, and he's screaming crazy.
Why am I screaming? She was the one taking the rat off.
Oh my God, we don't know.
But anyway,
hysterical.
Yeah. So anyway, someone just actually responded to that Insta story, and they said, somebody put that on there. That's what they thought. They're like, how could a rat climb up on the hood of your car? Now, funny they would mention that.
Do you think so? Do you think someone would intentionally do that?
What happened was... Well, there's 2 spaces there, okay? There's my space on the left, and there's another space on the right. And the space on the right belongs to this house that they do Airbnb. So there's always a different car there.
Oh, gotcha,
So the guy the other night, there was a black Suburban. And he was parked in the middle of the 2 spaces. Well, anyway, it was late. Like, I had to get in the house.
Yeah.
There's rats out there. I had to get in.
Right.
So I squeezed. I've got a big car.
Yeah, your car is huge.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
So I squeezed it on the left side of that. And, I'm sure he had to get in his right side. I'm sure he couldn't get in.
Do you think he was
side.
So squeezed in, he saw that dead rat on the ground and just flipped it up on your car?
And he put it on the hood of my car.
Well, good thing he Airbnb'd it because he doesn't know who's messing. What he didn't
know is I got his tag number. Whenever I block you in, I always get your tag number. I'm coming after you, Florida man. Coming after you.
You're going to drive to Florida
this ain't
for this
over.
revenge?
This ain't, no, I'm flying.
More of that black privilege.
I know, hey.
He's not driving.
My time. No, shit no. Flying first class. Making all the white people in the back mad.
Oh, you cracked me up.
Oh, we need some levity. You know what I mean?
That'll be good. That'll be good. We'll be getting lots of comments about that. Oh my God, you cracked me up.
Goodness.
Well, look, there's tons of other stories that we wanted to talk about this week. What do you think about this one with Cheesecake Factory? There is a class action lawsuit. If you've eaten there in the past couple of years, you may be up for some sort of small return. But they apparently, customers have said that they have screwed with them on suggested gratuity on a split bill.
Okay.
And people have been paying as much as 44% on a meal. So, Paul, you and I go and have dinner together.
Yes.
It's $50. They divide it by 25. And they
divide it by 2?
Right. They divide it by 2. We each
Okay.
say, hey, we're each going to pay for our own share, right? Okay. Then the suggested tip, what they've been doing is for the overall $50 bill.
So they say $10.
Right. So yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They're saying for me, for my $25 share, that the suggested 20% is $10 when in fact it's not. It's like $5.
Yeah.
Right. So whose fault do you think it is? Because the restaurant was saying, look, that's the suggested gratuity. Maybe Paul's paying all the gratuity. Maybe Sarah is. So it's your job. You should be able to figure it out. But then people go, no, I was drunk or I was too busy talking.
That can happen.
I know. And I actually kind of feel like they do have a point because at Cheesecake Factory, they have massive drinks.
This is so crazy. I've talked about Cheesecake Factory for twice in 3 days because Holly Morris, before she left for vacation, maybe it was like a week ago, she was saying that she was at the Cheesecake Factory with her son and they got to questioning the people there and they were asking them, how often do you change out the cheesecakes? And the people said something like every day. So they were like, wait, well, so basically...
Meaning fresh, meaning when do you make new cheesecakes?
Right.
Okay.
So basically if somebody takes one piece out, then that cheesecake, the countdown for 24 hours starts.
Oh, really?
But aren't they in a different paper wrap? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird
to me. Where do they make those cheesecakes?
I don't know. I don't think they're homemade. And
how do they have so many things on the menu? And how does it come out so fast? You know what? I don't go there. Unless they become a sponsor. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, you crack me up. Anyway, if you've been there in the past year or so, you might be eligible for some money. Also, Chris Brown today just came out, and our interns are younger; they can jump in on this one. But Chris Brown, there's a new documentary coming out, and Brown for the first time is going into specific detail as to what happened the night where he assaulted ex-girlfriend Rihanna. And so Chris says that he and his ex-girlfriend got into that physical altercation in 2009. Everybody remembers it. And he gives explicit detail. It's called Chris Brown, Welcome to My Life. It'll be out later this month. He kind of blames Rihanna. He owns his part, but he says things like, he says that the whole thing started over a woman that Chris Brown had admitted to having sex with when he'd first met Rihanna, but he was no longer seeing her. And according to Chris, that was the truth. But Rihanna never really trusted him after that. And he says that things went downhill, that they would verbally fight each other in physical fights as well. And he says mutual sides. It was the first time that I'd ever gotten into this with a woman. He says, I still love Rihanna, but I'm going to be honest. We would fight each other. She would hit me. I would hit her. But it was never okay. It was always a point to where we talk about it and be like, what the F are we doing?
That's just immaturity. Could you imagine? And I'm not victim shaming at all or anybody that's in an abusive relationship. I feel for you dearly.
Right.
But I feel at this stage in my life, I can't imagine someone hauling off and knocking, punching me or slapping me or anything physical in that way that I was in a relationship with. It would be over.
What would you do? So he describes the night that it happened. He says they were in a tiny Lamborghini, and he says that they got into a heated argument where she was punching, slapping, and kicking him. He was trying to pull over the car, and that's when he closed hand clocked her in the mouth. She started bleeding from her lip, and he says in that moment he was like, oh my God, to himself, what am I doing? Pulls over the car. They continue to fight. She grabs the keys, pretends to throw them out. That's when she finds somebody and yells, he's going to kill me. And then of course that starts the 911 call and the whole thing. So I don't know. I never even know what to say in situations like this when they blame the woman or they say that the woman had a part. I mean, clearly he just should have pulled the car over and got away from her.
Yeah.
If she was doing that.
I think everyone should stand down their ego and just stop. I mean, I do think in most cases, historically, except for the woman we just saw outside the window, most men are stronger than women. We just saw this woman that could whip all our asses, okay?
She was, can you imagine in a bar fight, those back muscles? She would just nail you. Oh, God.
Oh, it would be so over.
Oh my
but
God.
I mean, for me, just as a man, of course, I think that men should stand down. If a woman does haul off and smack you,
because ultimately you are much stronger.
Sure.
You're stronger than any woman here, and you are. You're stronger than everyone except for that woman that we just saw, who you're right probably could
who we'd all run from.
Right.
Right. Right.
Well, I'm excited to watch that documentary. I have a weird obsession with Chris Brown, R. Kelly, very inappropriate people. I'm not sure
But if you
why.
slap me,
Yeah,
I would
what would
curse
you do?
you out, but I don't think I'd slap you back. I mean, I might push you a little bit, but I might shake the shit out of you. I'd give you shaking baby syndrome. Oh, that much is true. But
okay.
I don't think I would. No, I wouldn't actually hit you back. I just wouldn't, because
You have good training now. I feel like you're very mindful. You're very
I
spiritually.
wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I don't need to be. That goes back to people that always need to be right. They always need to have the last word.
Yeah.
If it's one thing that I would remember, if anything ever happened to my dad, people would say, "What do you remember from your dad?" I would say, "He says to me, son, you can always be magnanimous. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to have the last word. You don't have to always be right.
That's good advice.
Stand down your ego.
Wow.
Stand down your ego."
That's really good. The other story was a woman who's now being slammed online for being disappointed with her $2,100 engagement ring. I want to know your thoughts on this.
Okay, now set the scene.
Okay, so here's the scene. So this woman just got engaged to her fiance, and she wrote on a site, mumsnet.com, that she expressed her disappointment. She says, quote, "I was so happy and excited to accept the ring, but was disappointed when I first saw it. The first word that entered my head was small. There's nothing to dislike about the type of ring per se, as a diamond solitaire would have been my choice, but it's the whole thing, the color of the gold, the setting, the small stone. His salary is near six-figure sum, and he's usually very generous. I ended up seeing the receipt. It was $2,100, a lot less than I imagined that he would spend on a significant piece of jewelry." What do you think? And of course, people are trolling her. You shouldn't marry him. I actually kind of agree.
The lady was being honest. Isn't that what the chat rooms are about? But you know who I just called?
Yes.
Our diamond guy.
Yeah, our diamond guy. Get Jonathan on the phone.
Jonathan Mervis. Yeah, I just called him. I'm like, I'm hearing this story. I'm like, I got to call Jonathan. Because, okay, so, hey, Jonathan, are you there?
Hey, Paul. Hey, thanks for calling.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Jonathan, this is the deal. I think you heard the story, right?
Yeah, it's sort of all over the internet.
It's all over the internet. So, this woman is disappointed because she said her fiance makes six figures and he spent $2,100 on the ring. Like, does she have a point?
Well, I think communication is sort of the starting point. Is she, what is he spending his money on? I mean, if he's not spending, as much as she would like on her, is he cheap at the restaurant? Is he cheap, when it comes to her birthday or anniversary?
It's funny.
Maybe, I don't know. There could be more to it. I think she should sort of speak to him before she speaks to the rest of the world.
It's so funny because when I read that story, I thought, well, he's probably saving for the wedding.
Or the house.
Or the house, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're giving him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, traditionally, maybe the girl's family pays for the wedding, but you never know what's up his sleeve. Guys can be romantic these days, so maybe that's the ring, but maybe there's another ring coming. Maybe, she shows up at the restaurant and there's a hot air balloon. You never know.
Yeah. So what's the carat weight of disappointment? Like, how many carats do you need to have to not disappoint? Now, you've seen a lot of people get engaged. Like, what's really the going size?
Good question.
Well, I'll tell you the phrase that everyone says. Has to be at least 1 carat. That we hear that all the time. A guy will come in, or a guy and a girl, and say, it has to be 1 carat. It has to be at least 1 carat.
Wow.
And that's, we live in Washington, D.C., or at least I live in Washington, D.C. I know you guys do. So this is a relatively educated and affluent area. It's not always the same around the country. In other parts of the country, people have less money and use smaller diamonds. So in this part of the world, our client base is shopping, I would say, starting at about, 0.5, 0.6 carats and all the way up. I mean, we see engagement rings of $100,000, right? So
yes.
The sky's the limit. But definitely most of what we do is that sort of carat to carat 50. Some people, 2 carats, 3 carats, that type of thing.
Do you ever see people come in and their significant other was really cheap, like the first time around, and then they're back and they're like, all right, don't let this cheap bastard get away with it now, and they just and then they just ratchet up the cost.
They came back a few weeks later, you mean, or 3 years later?
Yeah, at any point, you get women that come in and go, okay, yeah, this was not the ring I wanted, now I want this one.
Well, absolutely. So I would say the way that I see that is 2 different ways. One is guys will buy a solitaire, which classy. Solitaire just means just 1 stone in the center. And they're saying, well, I want something classy and simple, so they'll go for a solitaire engagement ring. And then the couple will come in months later to shop for wedding rings, and the girl will say something along the lines of, I sort of want diamonds all the way around, so then she'll sort of go all out on the wedding ring and just get like a big bling band.
Love it.
So, Jonathan, is there a formula, though? If a guy came in and he wanted to engage a woman, and of course do women come in and... No, they probably don't do that.
Yes, they do.
No, we have groups of women come in. We have women coming in with their friends, with their family. Of course, we serve, same-sex couples. So you see women coming in as couples themselves. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, but if someone came in to buy an engagement ring and they didn't know what to spend, is there a formula you can use where you can say a percentage of your salary, or how does that work?
So, back in the day, De Beers, they put together the marketing campaigns that had 2 months' salary or 3 months' salary. I mean, it's arbitrary, right? They wrote that in a marketing boardroom one day.
Mm-hmm.
Today's, the way I answer it to my friends, because I'm from the area, I have plenty of friends and friends of friends that get engaged and ask me questions. I tell them sort of realistically, it's not about sort of how much money you have in the bank, but just sort of what's your world around you. Who are your girlfriend's friends and what are they wearing?
Yeah.
You want her to feel happy and comfortable with what she's got. So
Absolutely.
She's going to feel a little inadequate if her friends all have 2 carats and you give her a half carat.
Oh.
But
So it's a bad sign if she's sitting on her wedding ring, if it's under her thigh?
But the same token, if she's working in, a dangerous part of town and, her friends all have half carat rings, she's going to feel a little bit, a little awkward if she's rocking like a 4 carat ring. So
Yeah.
you have to consider just sort of her surroundings.
I think I'd take my chances.
Yeah, me too. And I need richer friends in a better neighborhood.
So the diamond's too big on the outside, you turn it around on the metro and you're good to go.
Right.
Love it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Check Jonathan out at mervisdiamond.com if you're in the market for a diamond. I'm waiting to be in the market for a diamond. Please, I want to be in the market for a diamond.
It's going to happen, Paul, and I got one sitting right here for you.
Oh.
Love it, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Take care. Talk to you later.
You got it. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, there you go. Now we know the rules, and I definitely need wealthier friends. I think mine have all gotten married, divorced, and then the second time around they just get a gold band.
Well, what would you
They're
expect?
like, screw it.
What do you want?
Well, here's my thing: is what I want is I really want a $75,000 ring, but I realize that my significant other is not gonna buy that for me. So actually, I'd be fine with when we visited Jonathan, when we visited Mervis. They have just these really dainty bands. So I would actually just take 2 little bands,
With diamonds all the way around?
Yeah, I feel like you know what, in a world where I had a ton of disposable income, I would totally love to invest in good jewelry, but the older I get, I don't really care.
Sure.
I feel like the older you get, the pricier you get. The older I
Yeah.
get, the less I care. I'm just, I'm letting myself go.
Yeah. Well, the older I get, the more I think it's never going to happen. So you might as well just buy yourself something nice. You know what I mean? It's just what am I saving for?
Look, AJ is here with our news and pop culture today. AJ!
Hi, friends. AJ's here.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. I hope you read this story because I thought this was a really good one.
Right.
Did you read the one about the woman that doesn't have a vagina that's doing the GoFundMe?
I did. This story just came out, and I'm like, I can't even believe this is a real thing. It's a real disorder.
Sorry to put you on the spot. This is a real.
what was
Paul,
she born with?
was nothing. There's no. Actually, I don't even know. No, she can go to the bathroom. I believe she can go to the bathroom, but
Right.
there's no ovaries. There's no physical full on vagina. I think it's just a little urethra pee hole, and that's it. The rest of it's all missing.
Does she have an anus?
Yes.
Well, all right. You can work it. It's a good place to start.
Insane. The reason why it came out is she put it on GoFundMe. She's asking for crowdfunding to get constructive or reconstructive surgery.
How the hell does her insurance not cover? If you don't have a vagina,
It's
give me
come
a
on.
break.
At what point are we gonna?
We gotta call
help these
Dr.
people
Ruff.
out?
He could build her this glamorous vag.
A perfect The Bachelorette when she's like, I have a platinum vagine.
Well, this is really,
That'd be awesome.
at first it's laughable, but then as I started to think about it, poor woman.
I know, and so she has a boyfriend of 4 months.
They've
This is the
never had
reason-
sex,
never
right?
had sex.
Yeah.
And she wants to get surgery for that reason.
But isn't this something that your health insurance would pay for? Because that's a real serious medical issue.
I don't think they pay for everything, which is the issue. I think, because she's got a high deductible, and then she's going to have part of it's like cosmetic and all this stuff. I think they'll pay for like some of it, but then she still has to come up with like 20 grand on her own to cover all the costs. You know,
it's saying that insurance considers this a cosmetic or gender surgery, and it really upsets her because it's not. It's literally, she was born with that, and it's not her fault.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have ovaries. So what defines that you are a female or born female?
She says, I have all the correct chromosomes of a woman, so it's not gender or cosmetic thing because it's what's outside. It's not what's outside that's different. So everything on the
Does she
outside
have
looks normal.
breast?
She has, yeah, look at her.
Yes.
She's a gorgeous girl.
Which is why I cannot believe the insurance company would be giving her a hard time.
Right.
Like you have female, you're basically born a woman. It's so insane.
Yeah, and so she just wants to be normal and have sex with her boyfriend, and her parents are even behind her. Imagine going to your parents and be like, listen, I want to have sex with my boyfriend, so we need to get some money raised because I need to go along with this.
I guess my thing is it how old is she? Like 18 or something? Why didn't the parents? I mean,
She's in college.
the parents haven't like had
Seems
her.
like, can't you get a loan for that? I mean, why don't you just get a credit card and put it on there? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm looking at these people's pictures. I mean, they white. Don't they got white privilege? I want a vagina.
She needs $15,000 for surgery, and she set the GoFundMe page with her sister. She's already raised $5,700 in 2 months, and it's crazy to think.
Here's just to give you a description because I know how much Paul likes vaginas.
Right, describe it all
poor
for
Paul.
me.
Yeah, she says that her vagina looks exactly like how it should, except that instead of a vagina opening, there's like a little dimpled skin where the hole should be.
I don't even like hearing this.
She ovulates like other women, but it gets dissolved into her ovaries. And she says that crowdfunding is necessary because the health insurance won't cover the actual surgery. The fact that insurance considers this a cosmetic or gender surgery really upsets me. As
I feel
AJ
bad for
mentioned.
her. I really do. You know
do
what?
too.
I'm going to give her $50.
Really?
Maybe.
That's not.
I'm thinking about
Paul
it.
is in a giving mood.
I'll give her like 10.
Okay,
I mean,
I'll
I
give her
understand
10.
that cause, but damn, that's unbelievable. Anyway,
Life is hard out here.
I had to know what you guys thought about that. Yeah, we ought to throw like we work with bars, we have drunches. We ought to have the vagina crowdfunding drunch, and we ought to get her here.
Not bad.
And then raise money for her vagina.
Talk about being thankful for the small things, or the large things in my case. No, but I mean, but you take that for granted. You
Yeah,
know?
you do.
You really do. Like,
Yeah.
is there ever a day you thought you wouldn't have a vagina? I mean,
No.
it's just always been there,
Yeah,
right? It served
absolutely.
you well.
It served me well. I can't complain. Yeah.
Hey, kid, it got
And
you here.
Thankfully, I have never got pregnant. Yes, thank God.
No,
It has worked.
that's really sad. What else you got?
No, I just want to say quickly, my mom, she was diagnosed with glaucoma at age 50, and so she completely lost her sight, and it's been the biggest thing for me to realize, like, just waking up in the morning, like, I can
Wow.
see, I can carry out simple tasks, like making coffee. So just be thankful, guys. It's a huge, it's a
Honest
huge
to God,
lesson.
Yeah.
losing a finger, like
It's
losing a
insane.
finger, blows your mind. Like it throws your whole body off. We don't even realize how lucky we are. Yeah.
I'm going to get some hate mail for this second, but I had to put
Oh,
myself...
let's hear it out.
No, but I have to really get myself in check sometime because, you know, I'm in the skincare business. If I get like a pimple, I'm freaking the fuck out. I mean, I am.
Right.
And the other day, I was like, oh my God, something bit me on my face. You see this right here? It's like a little
No.
thing. Okay, well.
Guys, there's nothing on his
There's
face.
literally nothing. You are.
There's not a speck on that.
Well, I was looking and I'm like, oh my God, something bit me in my face. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to deal with this for 2 weeks. Then I thought, Paul, get a grip. You know, sometimes you just have to have
Right.
those moments where you're just like, wait a minute, I am really kind of off my rocker here. So,
Yeah.
no, I'm just, people have real issues.
If anything makes me gracious of my life, I just turn on the news on.
yeah.
No,
And you're
that's true,
immediately
too.
reminded. Speaking of gratitude, somebody who has been just suffering with, they've had a weight lifted off their shoulders. This is Aaron Carter. He recently announced, this was last week, I know, but Thursday he did his first public appearance after, letting the world know that he's bi. He let it out on Twitter. He wrote a little letter up, and it's a huge thing that he announced. Now, Paul, you were saying earlier you think maybe that he wants to announce he's bi, but this is really just him coming out before he says he's gay.
Okay, look what's happening here. Look what's happening with Usher in this situation.
Right.
Okay, so he's in that whole thing where people are suing him, and
What do you think the herpes is a plea for? What?
Well, what I'm saying is, Aaron Carter was just engaged to a woman. So suppose he comes out as gay. And these women are like, oh, he didn't tell me. And, he was probably screwing these men. And he was putting me in jeopardy, blah, 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 whatever. Because he was being promiscuous or he wasn't being honest about his situation. So he has to come out as bi. Mark my words, people. And I hate to be right about these things. But in 5 years from now, he's going to come out as being gay. He's going to definitely be in a serious relationship with a man.
Ooh, I actually do think you're right. I think
telling
the
you.
buy was a marketing thing, like he can't. His audience is completely women, so
Right.
I think he can't.
He just tripled it.
He just tripled it, and I think he just can't say completely yet. Yeah,
He can't
I kind
say
of get that
completely.
vibe too.
Now, is he 29?
He's 29 years old.
How did I see? Look, I didn't know that, but I knew that. You know how I knew?
Why?
How did
Because
you
that's
know?
about to be a scary age in the gay situation. So, see, that's when like the twink becomes the sugar daddy, or vice versa.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm
Got
saying?
it.
Yeah.
So I think he's about to settle into. See, Aaron Carter, he's in a great position to have him a really solid sugar daddy. Really solid.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that he's of age to
Yeah.
be the sugar daddy.
No, because
have
I
a
don't
great
think his money's
career.
going to be like all that. You know what I mean? You have people with like real money.
Real, actually.
You know what I mean?
Oh, honey.
Like, he-
Aaron, that's not real money. It's just Aaron
No,
Carter money.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, he will travel around and he can gig and he can do all that. But I'm just
Right.
saying, like, because he's got the panache, he can give the guy a good life. He can
Right.
lullaby him to bed. You know, he's not bad to look at. He's probably
Yeah.
got a healthy package going on because he's tall and lanky. They
Yeah.
usually do.
Maybe.
You think so?
No, they
almost
don't
thought-
sometimes?
I don't know.
I've
No,
never
From
seen
my
one like that.
experience.
Yeah.
No? Ooh.
Yeah.
Not good?
Not good. I mean, usually the tall, lanky white boys were a little.
Yeah, it's like a
Ooh.
pencil peen or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, it can
There's
be really
no
bad.
girth, guys.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, he can fall back on the name. You know what I mean? Like, what are his songs? I forgot.
I don't even remember actually
Do
either.
you know one?
You know, I was never a big Aaron Carter.
Was he in a group?
He was never in a group. I thought he was by himself.
No, he had like a big hit years ago. What
That's so
is it?
interesting. Anyway, I don't want to stop
Yeah.
the show over
no,
that.
keep
but
going, keep going. I'll find it.
Yeah,
no,
so-
I just think that, you know, it's easier to, you know, there's a process to this coming out. And when you wait to, you know, later in your 20s or in your 30s or in your 40s, sometimes you
Right.
have to run that by thing on your way to coming out as your true self.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
says he's been by this since 13.
I believe it. Yeah.
So that's a long time. And so, you know, congrats to him. He had a performance. Let me say this quickly. He had a performance on Thursday, and he actually cried, so we know it's legit.
That
he-
was sweet. Yeah.
and it was his first. So, you know, good for him. Good for
I
him.
love it.
I'm going to set the scene for you now. On to the next story.
Oh,
Okay.
Ready?
nice.
So you're in the subway.
Yeah.
You crowded. It's New York. You're schwitzing. You're hot. Everything's happening. There's too many people around you. And you look down on your phone. You get a notification.
Yeah.
You get a dick pic right on the screen. You're like,
A
oh my
dick
God,
pic.
what the hell is this from? You look down. You realize some little pervert is airdropping you dick pics.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
This is new. So people in New York subway are saying, literally, they're receiving airdropped photos on their phone, and that's how the new way of sending dick pics. And it shows up the notification. And this is if you have your settings. Make sure your settings are not set to everyone, just friends. So if your settings
Oh
are
no,
set
mine's
to,
set for everyone.
Mine is too.
I'm leaving it that way.
you're about to expect some dick pics. Oh, but Paul, luckily you don't take the metro.
Well,
so
I
there's
will
no-
for that. I will.
He's about to start riding.
Really? It's
Yeah.
kind of fun. I talk to people. It's fun. Go ahead.
I've heard stories. Metro sounds fun. I have to
Yeah.
try it. Speaking of my life, I've got to go take the metro after this.
No,
Mine
so,
will too. I
so
take it
wait,
everywhere.
let me be clear about this. So you get the dick pic, and then
Right.
when you hit accept, and then do you know who it came from? You got to
Yeah.
go scurrying around the train to find the person that sent it.
It comes up with the face, but you don't know who
Usually,
exactly,
yeah.
so you're
It comes
looking
up with the
around.
face?
It does if you like you know when you do your
No,
Apple login.
actually, no. Only for that moment. As soon as it turns to the dick pic, that goes right into your pictures, and then you don't know who sent it anymore.
That's true. Then it just becomes the phone number.
So you
Yeah.
have to try to remember the face and walk around and try to match the dick with the face.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of stress on a commute home on the subway.
And I have somebody, this was from New York Post. Britta Carlson, 28, was riding Uptown 6 train. She accepted the photo and was hit up with a disgusting penis.
What makes it disgusting?
The message was titled Straw and was sent by an anonymous stranger. It felt like somebody had actually just flashed me.
Oh.
So she clutched the phone to her chest so nobody else could see the dick pic that she just received, and she looked around trying to find the person. Like, oh my God, who would have sent this to me?
God.
I mean, I don't know if I call it disgusting. You know.
Depends on what it looks
Paul
like.
just hopes he get caught in one of the airdropping. He's like, let me just
Yeah.
throwing his phone around trying to catch some
I'll
dick
take it
pics.
as a compliment. Oh, thank you.
Do you think women are gonna start sending like, you know, some like tit pics, some
I think it was beautiful.
Everything-
I'd accept that.
an expression?
Okay, until you get your first vagina pic, and then you're gonna be like, this is harassment.
Play the video from the rat.
Exactly. That's exactly what you'll be saying.
That is
Yeah. Help, a vagina, help.
Oh Oh God,
That's
is
his vagina
hilarious.
bag. Oh my God.
Just
I love
insanity.
it. I love it.
Just insanity. And then I have just Taylor Swift. She won in court. It was the where she was physically or sexually harassed.
Right.
She was just taking a picture. It was a DJ, and he just had like a hand on her butt.
He looked completely guilty. I've worked with
Right.
tons of DJs. Yes,
they can
he's
be a little
guilty.
sleazy.
Yes, they're sleazy. Absolutely. I don't even know why he took this to court. I think in radio there used to be like the whole shock jock thing and the whole like no press was bad press, and this will be great for my radio show and all that stuff. And I think it's just completely backfired on him.
Yeah.
And how much does he have to pay her?
It's only $1. I swear it's only $1.
Really? I thought it was a
she wanted
$1
to
million.
make- I think he was suing her for $1 million.
Oh,
And
okay.
she was suing him for only $1 to prove the point that, hey, I don't really care about the money. It's all about proving a point that you sexually harassed
She
me.
should have taken the $1 million and given it to charity.
That too.
What's wrong with her?
She
I don't
probably would have
think
won $1 million. She can honestly give her own money to charity if she wants to.
I don't think that dude even has $1 million. I mean, that he must honestly like this has cost him so much money. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't even know the thought process of why you would do this. I think he just got down the rabbit hole of, thinking that this would be good press or
Exactly.
whatever.
It kind of scares me because I remember once when I was working for the CW, I was interviewing Jennifer Hudson,
Oh yeah, sure.
and she kind of grabbed me around my waist in the back with her right hand. So I took my left hand and grabbed her around her waist. And we were having a great time and just laughing and all that. Anyway, all of a sudden her publicist comes up and smacks the shit out of my hand.
Oh really?
Like as if I was and she was like, "You touched her butt." And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me, lady?" I stopped the interview. I was like, "Don't you ever fucking slap me." Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I will hit a woman. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it was serious. She smacked my hand with her hard ring and all that. And Jennifer
Maybe
was like,
she was
"What?"
saving you though. Maybe she was helping you out because I don't know.
She was saying, "Don't touch her butt," but we were having a great time. I wasn't touching her butt. My hand was around her waist. So, that lady's perception was that I was groping her or something, which is just crazy.
That is
but
insane.
she initiated the embrace. Because for years I interviewed celebrities for the CW, and I know, I would just let them interview, whatever they would give me, I would respond in that way.
At what
If they
point-
want a handshake, I wouldn't go in with a kiss and a hug, and I don't need all that,
Right. I just think it's getting so sensitive now. What is considered sexual harassment?
Mm-hmm.
Just a hand on the butt. That's what she called
I think
out about it.
my guess with Taylor Swift is that guy really thought he was being funny and probably did in fact try and touch her bare ass
More
or
than-
say, I mean
Right.
it's a radio DJ. I think it happened.
Sleaze. So round of applause for Taylor Swift. We're happy for her.
Yay!
And a cute last story. Puppy yoga. It's coming to Dallas. $15 a class. You heard about goat yoga,
Yes.
everything. Why hadn't somebody thought about puppies?
I don't know, but that's
So
a
if you're a
genius
puppy
idea.
person, it's coming to Dallas. So we'll
Until
have to
they
wait a little
poop
bit.
in your face. Downward dog.
Downward dog.
Yeah.
Right. All right. I love you guys. Thanks
AJ,
so much.
Where can people follow you?
Andrea Lopez Impressions. If you want, I just do. I love comedy. This is my personal little page that I do impressions on Instagram. I want to shout out. What is this? Amanda. She's so cute. She's come on the show before, but she just she gave me a cute little
Amber.
message. Amber,
She's
yes.
so great. Yes.
Amber, thank you so much for your little shout out. You were so sweet, and she had just told me, "Oh, wait, I love you on the show," and so just want to say hi.
Oh, that's great.
You're doing a
great job.
Well, thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you, AJ.
All right.
Just
We
watch
love you.
Yeah, we do love you. Just watch your impressions. I don't want you to be like Jeffree Star. I'm really worried.
Oh my God.
I know.
We were talking about that. We were
Yeah.
saying, should we talk about Jeffree Star, who I didn't even know until this week. Did you guys know, AJ or Joelle, did you know who Jeffree Star was, the
I
makeup
didn't.
artist
I
on
didn't.
YouTube? Did you know him,
No,
Paul?
I really didn't.
All right, anyway, he's a huge makeup personality who's got a massive following, and he basically criticized Kim Kardashian's KKW, which I
Yeah.
think is a terrible name for a beauty line, but anyway.
It's her initials.
Yeah, but that sounds. I'm saying KK. It's KKK.
In the time of this political.
Yeah, why would you
Yeah,
do
I don't see it that way.
KKW?
I'm not that sensitive.
Really?
And I think
But
those
it's
palettes
just
look
so
great.
awful.
Right.
Although it looks like they would get dirty really quickly because they look like a beige suede or something. Is that what that palette is?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you, but
Yeah.
they're always coming out with a new thing. But yes,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Anyhow, so Jeffree Star essentially criticized one of her beauty products, and then she came out on her Snapchat because they were saying that Jeffree Star is racist, which, of course, now, yesterday I got down the rabbit hole of all of his stuff. And, yeah, sure enough, there's a lot of videos. And our listeners actually felt really strongly about it. Hey, Joelle, can you hand me my phone? They were texting me on Snapchat that he is still racist, that he hasn't learned his lesson, and that he shouldn't be forgiven, even though he did like an apology video
years ago, right?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, basically saying, look, I'm really sorry, you know, the person that said those things is not who I am. But one of our listeners, Miss Sunshine, wrote, oh, absolutely, he hasn't changed. There are people who learn from their mistakes. Jeffree was not one of them. He went after a woman of color directly and didn't apologize to her, and he should have. Everybody can grow and learn. However, he has done nothing to atone for what he did to Jackie Aina, who I'm assuming is the woman maybe that he went after. Kim Kardashian is trash, a straight-up culture vulture.
Ooh.
There you go. So there's an opinion on that.
Well, I think that Kim Kardashian really should have been more sensitive to this, even from a selfish perspective. Like, why mess with her brand over trying to save him?
I have no idea. I think she believed that he had changed too from this video. I watched the apology video, which I thought was pretty sincere, but I don't know enough of the story because it sounds like since then he's had other incidents, is what I'm gathering from people. So I don't know anything about him. I mean, his Kat Von D doesn't like him, apparently, on his Instagram, which I don't follow him, but he kind of encourages just like drugs, sex, you know, craziness.
Well, yesterday he was saying that every news source out there has been contacting him about a quote, you know, based on what Kim K said.
Right.
And he's like, F off. So, I mean, to me, what did my dad say? Son, you can always be magnanimous. So, Jeffree, you can always be magnanimous because especially if you want to keep your brand. And it really perplexes me, these celebrities that have these brands that are driven on people buying your stuff. See, because part of that is all fluff, or you're making videos. You could have like 10 million followers and like 10 cents.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So, but really, it's about, you know, you got to stay out in the community. You have to be kind of connected to the people that are buying your stuff and growing your brand. So I don't understand how someone like that can just, you know, be telling everybody to go F off.
It's amazing.
And still stay in business. Is that white privilege?
No, I think
because
you're just
I don't know
asshole.
that I would feel that I would have the power to do that, to tell everybody to F off. Well, I wouldn't want to, first of all. And then think that my brand was still going to be there.
Doesn't
and I was
Cat
still
Williams do that all the time?
I don't know that. Well, he's a comedian. He's not somebody selling cosmetics.
Oh, well, true, but I think people still come see him, right? And he like always is like.
Well, every comedian tells people to F off. But this guy isn't a comedian, and he's telling people to F off that are questioning him about saying these racist things in the past. He's like, you know, get over it. Sometimes you know, there's no statute of limitations for how long you have to pay for your mistakes. You just have to keep apologizing sometimes.
That's a good point.
Maybe you do, or maybe they just can't just F off. Maybe he's got a rich dad.
Yeah, maybe he's got something because he keeps on going. Okay. Really quickly, Joelle, our intern, last week on the podcast had made the comment that she feels she is a black woman, but sometimes she feels white inside, and she referred to herself as an Oreo, which got into a big discussion. Oh, Paul's breathing.
Thank God.
So we got some emails, as you can imagine, about it. And here's one. This woman says, long story, I'm going to try to make this short. When I was 12, we moved from Memphis to Northern Virginia, and it was a huge culture shock. I went from being a majority black school to being the only black girl in my neighborhood and one of two in my 6th grade. In middle school and high school, the majority of my friends were white because I wasn't black enough for the black girls. They called me Oreo, and it hurt. I was supposedly, quote, acting white and talking white. It sucked. Once I got to college, I became best friends with a black girl from Maryland, Prince George's County. I was so grateful. I went to UVA, a super white school, so I kind of grew up like Joelle, but I didn't use that as an excuse to shun black men. If anything, it made me even want to date them more. Now, she goes on to say that now she's divorced and she dates black women, and seems like your intern has an issue with black men. I know, she writes, plot twist.
Oh, I'm like, did you see me?
Whoa, okay.
I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, okay. Yeah.
It seems like your intern has an issue with black men that she deems that are not on her level.
I think she's right.
Just my thoughts. And she says you start turning your nose up at your own people because your standard is based on the white environment you're in. Just my 2 cents. What do
What's
you
her
think?
name?
I didn't post her name because sometimes I'm not
okay.
sure if people. Sometimes they recognize.
Hey, girl, I hear you. Okay, let me let her answer. Hold
What
on,
do you
girl.
think,
let me let her
Joelle?
answer.
What did you get some feedback about last week's episode? What do you think?
I have friends that agreed with my statement. They were just like,
You
I
can tell us the
understand
truth.
where you're coming from, and I have friends. What does it mean to act black? I don't understand why.
Well, if
people-
someone said that to you, it would be a little bit offensive. If you know, at this stage in your life, probably as a grown-up, don't you think you would be offended if somebody defined your actions, the way you talk? Do you feel like you still get that as a grown-up?
I do still get that, and I don't appreciate it only because, like I said, what does it mean to act black, or what does it mean to act white, or any of that?
Right.
I'm who I am. I don't think that I act a certain way. I think I act how I was brought up. I don't act, I don't need to act ghetto
But it seems like
or
you're kind of
anything.
owning what those people are saying, like based on last week's conversation. It seems like you were comfortable in. You called yourself an Oreo. I mean, if that's not owning it, I don't know what is, right? So we have to figure out how, like, what does that mean, and how can you get back to being, like, loving who you really are.
One other person wrote to us. Here was the other email I really liked. She says, was listening to your intern talking about being an Oreo, and she sounded like me when I was in high school. I also grew up in Montgomery County, and all my friends were white except 2 people. My friends would always say I'm white stuck in a black woman's body, and I did take that as a compliment back then. A lot of the black people in my school were loud and bad, but looking back, there were other races acting the same way, even white people. I've never dated a full black man, only a mixed man, black and white. I ended up, this is the one, oh my God, sorry.
Oh God, here we go.
I ended up wearing a white man and divorcing him, and now I'm dating a black woman. Plot twist. Oh, whoops. So this is actually
okay.
a different email. I
Okay.
confused the email. So sorry to the first woman. She's not a lesbian. This one.
Oh God.
She says,
I'm glad we didn't call her name.
that's why I
Susie
don't-
Johnson from Rockville, Maryland. We're so happy for you and your wife.
I don't use names. She says, I think being a young black woman with white friends, it's hard to be black and proud when there's nobody around you to back you up. Tell your intern, she always has a black friend with me. So there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I totally messed up
He's
that.
looking at me like I'm like, well, at least you have one.
See?
I'm just kidding. You know I love you. I'm starting to.
I actually think
I'm
said
a very lovable person, you guys. Okay.
You guys are going to kill me, but I think I said that wrong. Actually, she says, tell your intern to always have a black friend with her. Never be the token. Sorry.
You actually
You were messing
back
us all
down
up.
to 0.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm done. I can't read today. Anyway, Joelle, what do you think? You're just still finding, what do you think? You're still an Oreo? We don't know. Where are
I
you?
think maybe I'm finding myself.
Okay.
You need to find her a black guy to go on one date with. I want to see a guy. I want to see you go on a date with a black guy.
We're taking applications.
Yes. we're taking
Yes. Do you have a
applications.
black friend that would date Joelle, and she's very cute?
That is respectable.
She's pretty.
Take her on a
Yeah.
good date.
I
Absolutely.
don't think I'm above black people. I do
You
not
take that
think
back?
I don't think I'm above black
Did
people.
you say that last week?
No, but the lady on the email says that she thinks that I think I'm above. I do not think I'm above black people.
Sorry, I was just playing our outro. I didn't know if we were like done or not.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I hear it from her headphone.
You do? I don't hear it.
God. Well, look, you can email us, paulwhartonstyle@yahoo.com,
That's right.
sarah@heyfrase.com. You were great.
But you know what?
I'm going to send you these emails because I don't even know if I read them correctly. They're probably
We'll
like
see.
people just supporting you. I don't even know.
Have you
Please
been drinking?
support me.
Wait a minute. Before we go out, I got something else to say.
of course.
But it was so funny because I wanted to talk a little bit about this, and then we'll go out. How come I hear it in your and not mine? Okay.
I don't think it's in mine.
Anyway, we hosted this fashion show last week, and it was so interesting because
Oh, God.
Sarah, and I don't know if it comes down to being raised by a black mother or a white mother. And I know I just went into a whole other topic, but we were hosting this fashion show, and the people were, they were kind of loud. And so Sarah says, I'm going to need y'all to get you a drink and put something in y'all mouth and shut up. Now, it's a room full of several hundred, like, professional, older black women. And it was like somebody literally, like like the record
Hey,
scratch.
they stopped, right?
They stopped.
They did.
And look, they almost caught a charge on you. But I was like, oh my God. And I said, oh, y'all, I'm sorry. She know not what she do. She wasn't raised by a black mama. And then I thought about that for a moment. And when I was growing up, Andrea loves this. She wasn't raised by a black mama because when I was growing up, my white friends, because I grew up around all white people too, they used to yell at their parents. And I thought my sister, Holly, and I, shout out to Holly, she listens to this podcast, my sister. Even though I told her this is not family approved, but I let her listen. But my white friends used to yell at their parents. Like, I had this friend, Nicole, down the street.
That's crazy.
And her mom would say, Nicole, and she would say, what? We were not allowed to say what or anything. We had to like say yes. We had to be very respectful. And I don't even know what would have went down. I mean, I'm sure we caught a whooping a couple of times. But we didn't even want to see like how bad it could get. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know, like, it would never occur to me, but I was thinking when I told you that because I kind of said it as a joke and we were hosting a show, but I was thinking, would I have said to a group of white women of that age, shut up, even as a host? And I don't think that I would. So I'm wondering... Like, did you?
Well, I thought it was, I hope my tone was in fun because we were all having a good time and everybody was drinking and having a good time. But
I think you were great.
They were so loud. It was like, I mean, and I get it. You're drinking, you're having a great time. The fashion's good, but it's just sometimes, when I can't stand when you go to these fashion shows or charity events, right? And they're trying to do a live auction, and then they have a very meek little, woman or somebody up there that's like, could we have your attention for one more minute?
Yeah.
And you're like, bitch, they aren't going to listen to you. Like, say something shocking. Like, whip your dick out. Do something.
Right.
So I was like, all right, everybody, now get something in your mouth,
a drink,
a dick, or whatever, but shut up.
Did you feel like...
I did, but they were such a good crowd.
Yeah,
I felt like they were with us the entire time, and we were like giving them drinks in the audience. And then, this woman had like 8-inch long nails, and I went up to her. I was like, oh my God, how do you wipe with those? And she's like... I don't shit. I was like, okay.
And they were all
they died.
They died. But, you were the Kathy Griffin, and I feel like it was shocking at first. And in the end, everyone was like, because they all stopped. They were going to whoop you for a second. But then in the end, everybody's like, oh, she was actually pretty good. And they started taking pictures, and they were taking pictures with us and the whole thing. So maybe you have a career in shock comedy.
I do enjoy shock comedy because I think everybody wants that, right? In the time now where, like, I think everyone understands in a setting like that, you're not picking on like one person, you're making fun of yourself. We were like having a great time. We were making fun of the fashion. We found some men to exploit. Like, people want that in a setting, but no one can do it anymore because it's like, oh, God, should I be sexualizing this man? And what if a guy did this to a woman? Who cares? This is a fashion show. Get your wallet out and let's feel this man's ass.
Absolutely.
Or take off his shirt.
Yeah.
No, I hear you completely. I just think that the climate...
I know, why do you
like
thought it was too much?
Well, the climate that we're living in, it just makes me... Sometimes I feel, because I don't like to do this, I don't like to be racially sensitive for myself, but I am that way when other people are around and I want to be compassionate toward, for them if they don't have the microphone or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, because I don't like when people nitpick everything I say. I don't like to live that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope as a nation and just we can get back to, I don't remember it always being like this. Maybe it was just not this intense.
I think it's super hypersensitive, but I think people want to come and have a good time, and I think, in this town and many towns, there's so many galas, there's so many charity events, and it's so boring. Like I said, it's people up there, it's like, ready for the auction? No, like show us something, like give us something. So I thought they were really great, and you were really good. People loved. You were awesome. So it was really.
Oh, that's
fun
my
night.
sweet spot.
I know.
50+ black woman. Hey, auntie. Hey, baby. All right, I'm gonna holler at you after the show, girl. Yeah, I'm gonna just do this real quick, girl.
What is that? Can we do that? I'm glad that Joelle, the one white girl here, liked it. Thanks.
Spotify.
Check us out on Spotify, y'all.
My white girl liked it. She was good, yes. She was like, you were great.
I love that.
Bye, everybody. Download us
Tell a friend.
Paul Wharton, love you.
Love you,
Amazing.
Sarah Fraser.
AJ, Joelle, you guys are great. We'll be back next week.
Bye.